Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're working on Snowball as usual, and I'm doing a little bit more wiring harness surgery modification, so to speak. You know, there's some things that are in different places on the Cummins than they were on the multi-fuel, and I have to change the terminations of the wires for those senders to work. So I wanted to show you a couple of things that I'm doing and actually share a secret that I've learned from years of experience with you. So, you know, if you're in your armchair at the end of the day, kick back, relax, crack open a beer, and follow along. You remember I put a brand new wiring harness in this. I got it from Dave Giorgiani. He's still got a bunch of these. He's still selling them. He has a good price on them. So if you haven't grabbed yourself one or more already, go ahead and grab one. There's plenty of places to get them, but that's where I got mine. Just throw that out there. So, and by the way, that was before I got my Big Mike's Motor Pool sponsorship. So, wiring harness. Okay, to the point. You see I've got the wiring stripped back already. Now we've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 5 wires here. Okay, this big one, the 8 gauge, originally this was for the generator to the battery. Now what I'm doing with this is I'm going to the 12 volt post between the two batteries, and I'm going to use the other end of it up there and connect to a 12 volt fuse block. For the charging system, I'm just going to go straight from the alternator here down and along the frame and back to the starter post. So no big deal there. I do still need a field wire for this though. So this harness comes over, it connects to a P-clamp there, and then it goes down. And there was one wire, I think it's 36, that was used to connect it right in this area for the oil pressure. The other one I think is 33. Let's see. Yeah, this one is a little bit longer than the other. Let's see which is which. Okay, these two. Actually, let me think about this for a second. The temperature sensor. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is way shorter. This is the oil pressure. This is 36, and it's a male. If you're plugging into senders, they have to be a male connector. So this is the one that went right there. This needs to go to the other side of the engine. Yes, I could connect it right here to an oil pressure sender, but I need to leave this port open because I plan on adding a bypass oil filter, an AMSOIL bypass oil filter system later on, and I need that tap to draw an oil source to go to the filter. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the oil sender wire 36 and the temperature sender wire 33 to the other side of the engine. That's why I've got all this stripped back. I'm gonna have to shorten the leads, and then I'll retape everything. 55, that is this one. This was originally the flame heater, which on the multi-fuel was right in this area, right by the temperature sender. Now, obviously the Cummins doesn't have a flame heater, and this wire is already on this side of the motor. I need a field wire. Guess where this goes? This goes into the cab, right to the, right near the main master power switch. So what I'm gonna do is hook up this side of the 55 lead. Instead of hooking it to the momentary switch, I'm gonna hook it up to constant switch power on. Well, not constant, but switched on power. So when the master switch comes on, this gets power, and it will act as the field wire for that instead of the flame heater wire. Now I'm still going to have to extend this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it down, and I'm going to follow the alternator wires along the frame with it and go up. That way it's clean. I don't want it laying on top of the motor and coming across, or laying on the manifold and melting and shorting. I don't want any of that kind of nonsense. So it'll be integrated into some other stuff, and it'll be really clean. Now, as far as the oil pressure and the temperature sender really just has to be shortened because the cinder is right here. So I'll come off the harness right here and go right there. And the oil pressure, I'll come down. I may not have to shorten it, but I should be able to cable tie it to that silverish fuel return line you see right there. And that little plug right there, I've already removed it once. It is just sitting in there loose. That's where the oil pressure sender will go in. I've already got the fittings I need and a 90-degree fitting to put it right there. That's the main gallery, I guess the cam bearing or whatever. That's the main oil gallery. So I'm going to get a good oil pressure reading there, and it's not exposed. It's not going to get hit and knocked off, broken, cracked, any of that stuff. That I'm definitely going to have to shorten that. No big deal. I'll just cut it back and put a new connector on it. And then I'll have to tape everything back up. This is where the secret comes in. Okay? If you guys have done anything with wiring, or you've worked with older vehicles, you know how frustrating it is when you've got a wiring harness and the tape at the end just kind of stops there. And when the tape gets old, the glue starts to fail and it just kind of starts unraveling, and then you end up with a tail of tape dangling. It looks like crap, and it keeps unraveling farther and farther. I'm going to tell you how to stop that. If you have to unwrap things like this, or if you have an issue like this, let's start with the unwrapping. You've got a termination point up there where you stopped unwrapping and you ripped the tape off, okay? You could start back right there with the tape and wrap it back the way it came. Or you can get all your wires the way they need to be and start at this end. So instead of having a tail like this, you start your wrap of tape and you cover the tail so it can't come loose, and then you wrap from this way up. And when you get to where you're going, the way you keep it from ever unraveling again is you meet your previous termination point right there, and you unwrap your tape, and then you slide your big heat shrink down, and you cover up your joint where your old tape and your new tape meets, and you heat shrink it. And it's done. It's staying there forever, unless you unwrap it again. Okay, so you can do the same thing with this end. For that, you're going to need like some 3/4 to 1 inch heat shrink. Something like this, you could use 1/2 inch heat shrink or 5/8 heat shrink. Usually a 3-to-1 is better. I like 3-to-1. 2-to-1 will work, but you'll have to size it more carefully if you're using a 2-to-1. This, I would use 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch will just let this connector slide through. Slide one connector through, pull it up to here, bend your other connector around, slide it through. What I would do is pull it up past the end of the tape here. I'd get it well out of the way, come back down, and take your roll of tape and start here. You can leave your number tag exposed, start just prior to that if you want. Tape up this single wire. When you get up to here, do a couple of wraps and terminate it. Then come and do the same thing on your other wire. Start it here, wrap it over itself, tape this wire up, terminate it here, then slide your heat shrink back down and heat shrink it, and you've got all of that sealed up and nothing is going to come unraveled ever again. I'm going to go back and redo all of this stuff because I don't like that. I will be heat shrinking this. I'm going to do exactly what I just described to you on every little thing like this. I put enough work into this, enough time, enough effort. I'm not going to have unraveling, crappy looking stuff. So just a little thing I've learned. I really have been waiting to share that with you guys. I'm sure somebody out there already knows that. I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I'm good at what I do. I enjoy what I do, but there are other guys that are equal to or better than me at this stuff. So, but hey, I hope it helps you. That's what I'm here for. So, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your views. If you liked the video, please take a moment and push the little like button down below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I do a lot of stuff like this. I enjoy it. Hopefully you do it too. And if you do, you definitely want to subscribe because you're going to miss a lot of cool stuff if you don't. Don't forget to check out our sponsors. They are listed in the description below. Phone numbers, web addresses, Big Mike's Motor Pool, and RapcoParts.com is where we get all of our parts and our paints and everything. And both I and they would sure appreciate your business. So until next time, guys, you know, hang loose. Later.